Hi, Lev. I wanted to give you an update on my carving effort because I think that I found something else that is interesting. And so I wanted to give you just a sense of what I found. So I've got, as you know, I've been carving my girl, and these are my 3 attempts. There's a 4th one in here somewhere that didn't actually even make it to head state, but this is attempt 1, attempt 2, and attempt 4 for this girl, the carving. Now attempt 1, as you know, which is this head, is where you and I discovered that there was a software issue where the software was trying to make a move, and it was trying to get the cutting tool to move to another area over here by going through the wood. And we discovered that, and you gave me an update. So that was awesome. So that was attempt 1, which failed. Attempt 2, which is this girl, you'll see that, so this was after you gave me the update, and I ran it, but I only ran it with a single tool path, no skin, and then I tried to do an X tool path to smooth, and it didn't work because there was no skin, and so I ended up with tool marks all over it, and then you and I had the discussion about how to get rid of those tool marks by leaving a skin, which I did for the subsequent tries. But I just wanted to point out before we get to attempt 4, this was attempt 2. I want you to look at her nose. So there was an interesting thing going on here where the nose itself, the surface of the nose, was sort of offset over here. So the top of the nose was like here, and I thought, oh, that's really weird. I think my machine must have slipped on the A-axis as it was going around. And so there was an offset of a nose here, and you can see that in the finishing pass, it's very smooth over here. What was happening was the tool was coming around, and then it would lift a little bit, so this is smooth, and then it would lift over this as though there was something here that it was supposed to carve but wasn't there, because the actual thing, the bulk of the wood was over here. And then it would plunge into that where the bulk of the wood was. And so we have this smooth area, very smooth, where the bit smoothed this out because there was actually quite a lot of material here on the side of the nose, sort of offset. And interestingly, on the back of the girl, where you've got the bun on the back of her head, you can see a very similar thing. So this surface here was left untouched because the head went right over it. But on this side, it bit and it smoothed out this as though everything here were sort of shifted in this direction. And I thought at the time, oh, so it carved this because this is, these are the heights, right? On the very first pass, you get these, they're the heights. And I thought, oh, it must have carved those and then shifted on the A-axis. That's my machine, so we'll just get it in the next pass. Well, so you come to version 4, and I want you to notice the nose. So the nose, same thing was happening. Now this time on this pass, this is a helix pass on a 3mm skin. So she's essentially sitting, I guess, like this to you. And the tool is coming down. And what was happening was that the tool was, as the tool was coming here, it was lifting over the nose and then biting in really hard here. And the material at the top of the nose, actually most of it, again, was offset so that there was a lump of material here. And the head of the cutter was sort of coming along, and it would come along and it would go right over this, and then it would bite in here, and right where that head is where the material was, meaning that this was machined out as though it were the side of a nose again. This whole plane was offset by several millimeters, probably looks like 3 to 5 millimeters. At the back, same deal. So you can see here I have machine marks from first pass, but then in the subsequent tool paths, this was left untouched. It would come up to it, it would lift right over it as though there was supposed to be material over here that it was machining, but that material was now over here. And what it was doing was lifting over this, not touching it, and then plunging here and it took a swath of material off of here and very closely machined it, but this was left untouched because the tool head went right around it as though it wasn't there. So I believe, based on this, that there may be an issue with the G-code for, again, these are the heights, for just stuff at this layer, just in the first pass. It looks like the first pass, or the first layer in the roughing pass, was incorrectly positioned. And it's consistent, interestingly, across all of these girls. So again, attempt 2, you can see the nose is misshaped and very, very well carved here. The tool was right in there, as it should be, and it was right in there though, making that smooth, because there was material there that was protruding that needed to be taken out, and that material really should have been over here so that this was even, but it wasn't. And if you go way back to the very first one that I did, first attempt, you can see here as well that the nose is not smoothly formed. There's actually a dib here and a dib here, as though, again, the tool path has not been correctly formed. And this is all kind of cracked so you can't see it, but same thing on this side. So I think there is a consistent tool path issue on these carvings, first layer, and it would probably be a good thing if you had a look at it. I don't know if you can, but I think it would be a good idea just so we can see, since this appears to be consistent, if there's a bug in the software at that layer height that is causing the issue. Thanks.